comics.
But
Yeah.
let's talk about the final character of the main four, Amy Rose.
Oh, yeah.
I like Amy. Actually, I really like the character of Amy. I actually did not have problems with her in the beginning. My problems with her stemmed after Adventure 2 when, again, that's where a lot of my problems seem to stem is when Heroes came along.
I was about to say, Heroes was, like, in terms of just like everyone's, yeah, just personality-wise, they screwed up for the sake of making it more campy.
Yeah. Now, let's hear Amy's original bio. Well, let's hear that.
Okay, actually she's the during Sonic C's release, she's the only one. She has like a bio, but I don't think it was written out. But she was 12 years old, and actually, that's Sonic Adventures. That's Sonic Adventures bio. She was supposed to be 12. I think in like the original 90s, 16-bit games. Yeah, she was around Tails' age.
Maybe a little bit older, possibly.
I think a little young. I think around either the same age or younger.
Okay.
And like, she was actually she was literally a fangirl of Sonic.
Now keep that in mind, people. Fangirl. Fangirl. Keep that word like very seeped into your memory, because this is going to be important when we talk a little bit more about her in the future. But yeah, she was a total fangirl. Like Sonic's #1 fan. She was a kid.
Mm-hmm. She was kind of a like the 90s like 90s girl. Was kind of into like everything.
Yeah.
Like she would like I think the original Japanese story, like she read tarot cards, and that's how she found out that Sonic and her were meant to be and stuff. And so she decided to, and like they told her to meet at the lake where Little Planet was supposed to appear, and then she gets kidnapped by Metal Sonic.
Mm-hmm.
So, like her whole becoming like obsessed with Sonic developed from just her, like having like schoolgirl crushes.
Yeah, and that's usually
let me see who I'm meant to be.
And to me, that's where the line should have been drawn and kept in that line, because when we talk about Amy Rose, when it comes to Amy Rose, she is the emotional core of the group. She's not a physical fighter. She's not a tech person. She's not an extreme adventuring type. She is the heart of the group. And, you know, a lot of people might scoff at that notion, but it's true. Her schoolyard crushes with Sonic should have been drawn at that point. Because if you played Adventure 1, in Adventure 1, you can obviously play as Amy, and she has her own story that...
She's buying groceries.
Yeah, she's buying groceries, but more to the point, Amy is trying to develop her own independence.
Also, I was going to say, like, she's not worried about... She's actually, like, at the beginning of the game, she's not worried, really... Like, she's thinking about Sonic, but she's kind of, like, trying to live her own life.
And
like,
she's also
not...
thinking of Sonic in the nostalgia sense. Like,
yeah.
Oh, man, that last adventure of Sonic saving my ass from giant metal clones was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Like, hindsight. But she's living her own life. She's got her obviously own apartment or whatever in this big...
She's, according to her bio, she's supposed to live... She lives at Station Square.
Yeah. So
it's called Central City, whatever.
Shit going on. And she wants her independence with Sonic. She feels like she doesn't want to always have to depend on him. And she does that very well in Adventure by doing her own little side mission when it came to saving the Flicky and saving the Flicky's parents, which ties in with the E102 Gamma story. Yeah, it ties in with Gamma's story. In Adventure 2, she's got a lot of like, you know, oh yeah, I did this. I can kick it with the big boys and be good. And in Adventure, she tries it, and it's successful to a point. Not really successful, but it's successful enough that she's like, you know, oh, I got Sonic out of jail. I'm cool. You kind of owe me one. I mean, she plays it off like, oh yeah, you have to marry me. Ha 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 ha. But it's a joke. Yeah. You know, she's totally making it seem like, yo, you owe me. I'm just a little girl. I totally saved your ass. You're in
and Sonic's just like, whatever.
Yeah,
I could have broken out any time.
Yeah, and even then, Sonic's kind of, his ego's probably a little bit busted there. He's like,
Oh, it was. It's like, what do you get?
This little girl in a dress with a hammer broke into a military base and saved my ass.
I like what I like what Tails he hears about it. He's like, what is she doing there? That's like the first question he asked.
And even that, if you think about it, she got there before
Tails.
So, fuck it. First off, that raises the question how she got there, but obviously you got to give Amy some badass points for the fact that she got there.
She was able to infiltrate a high security
military
government facility
an island
before the Prodigy.
Exactly. Before the super smart kid with a jet could get there. So, obvious points. Now, later on in Sonic Adventure 2, you obviously see that Sonic and Tails are constantly ditching her. Why? Because the adventure's she's not really holding up with the adventure.
Well, it builds up to her moment with Shadow.
Yeah. Now, for the moment,
she's not supposed to be the one in the action. She's supposed to be the one who's like, hey, like like you said, the emotional part.
Because, obviously she gets abducted by Robotnik at gunpoint. She's constantly having to evade police. Shit's getting too big for her. And it's not to say that Amy can't handle herself. It's just the fact that Amy cannot handle this not lighthearted, this not easy adventure that could actually end at the death of everybody. It's too much. Yeah. So when she finally has her moment with Shadow and actually, okay, I know the speech was a little bit dumb and it didn't make sense. I blame translation error. But
you thought it was translation error?
There's a couple points that she says in the speech that doesn't make sense because, everyone's good as long as they try for their wishes.
Oh, yeah, that part.
I'll get back to that, though. That's another topic for another day. But, she convinces Shadow to help out the group. She shows that she has an emotional core empathy, something that not every other character has. Knuckles is not going around saying, look, let me talk to you on an emotional level.
Yeah.
Tails is not talking to people on an emotional level. And every time they've tried to make Sonic talk to someone on an emotional level, it comes out awkward. I.e. Sonic 06, Sonic with a mountain of handkerchiefs. It's not, don't hold
what?
Sonic. You never finished Sonic and the Secret Rings?
I never played it.
Good. Because, eventually the evil guy turns out to be in love with the genie that Sonic's helping out.
I was going to say, does this have to do with the genie chick?
Yeah, it does. Okay. For some reason or another, but he's evil. So she tries to help out the evil guy, and then he's like, I wish you could.
I saw that cutscene.
Yeah.
I'll wish for a mountain of handkerchiefs. And I'm like,
just cry. You'll have plenty of handkerchiefs to get you through it. And I'm just like,
that's kind of being a dick.
Not only that, but that is the most cheesy Saturday night special high school Degrassi bullshit ever.
With
but
genius.
back to Amy.
Oh, okay.
Now, my problem with Amy is the fact that once Heroes came on the scene, she became not a fangirl who happened to think Sonic was a cool person.
She became that chick who tried to kill the writer in that one movie.
She is a character who literally says, if there is no escape, you can't get out of marrying me, and I will fight you in hand-to-hand combat. Now, this is completely 180 degrees against Amy's character. First off, let's just get this out the way. In Sonic CD, they showed her, following Sonic around in that little, scene and having a little heart.
All she does is hug her. Hug him.
But she's a kid.
Yeah.
She's a child. It's a little girlhood fantasy. We've all had those. Now, that does not mean that it should tie into a severe psychotic obsession when she gets older, to the fact that she's constantly chasing him around. He's constantly having to avoid her. She's constantly saying, Sonic, marry me, even though I'm underage. It's on a very mentally disgusting level to me, and I actually think it does a severe disservice to Amy's character.
I think they make fun of that in the Archie comics when they go into the alternate dimension, and their Amy is like a complete psychopath.
For example, look at Sonic Generations when, like, in the ending scene, Sonic is holding her by the head, and she's like, ah,
Yeah,
and
I
he's just
know.
like, tail. Thanks for the chili dog, but I need to get this girl off me.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't like, this is not Amy. I don't care what anyone says. This is not Amy Rose. This has never been Amy Rose's character. Amy Rose strived for independence. Amy Rose strived for her own identity when it came to Sonic's group. Amy Rose strived for, I need to validate myself by marrying Sonic, and I will beat him until he says yes. That was not what was supposed to work. But lo and behold, Sega dropped the ball. Now,
actually, just to point out something, her original, she was actually a character that was developed even before Sonic CD.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in the Japanese manga promoting Sonic 2, actually. So Amy Rose was actually, she was that chick that Sonic had a crush on.
Ha! Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, how the tables have turned.
Yeah. And I think in the manga, they tried to play a Superman thing where Sonic, at first he was this nerdy dude, and then when Eggman came, he became super cool breeze Sonic the Hedgehog.
I like that, actually.
Yeah.
There needs to be more of, like, an actual plot. Like, reboot the Sonic universe and start from scratch. Oh my god, I'd actually be happy for a reboot at this point.
Really?
I would. You have no idea how much I'd be happy for a reboot and start from scratch. Because the thing about it is, like, they've written themselves into a corner with these characters that all these characters have one note. Tails is techno-babble, go over your head, like, nothing but, like, the transistors of my radio, you know?
I should say, it should be in a reboot in the spirit of how Sonic Adventure was a reboot. Like, they didn't change the story. Like, they just updated the characters and gave them fleshed out. Like, Sonic 06 was supposed to be a complete reboot where they would have none of the backstory, which is why the story doesn't really make sense.
No, but their reasons behind it didn't make sense either. We made it a reboot so people could easily jump in and play and not have to worry about any backstory. Same problem that they had with Sonic Unleashed. They tried to do that shit too, and it made it even more confusing. Yeah, Sonic Unleashed was supposed to be a reboot too.
Oh wow, I didn't even know that. I mean, I know it was a reboot in terms of gameplay, but not in terms of story.
Yeah, they wanted to make it so like anyone could jump in like and never have played a Sonic game before, even though the game starts out with Super Sonic and that doesn't make a damn lick of sense. But we're talking about gameplay. Let's not go there. As far as the characters are concerned, you had 4 different characters, each of them unique with their own personality traits that the other person didn't necessarily have. Tails being the brains, the voice of reason, the person who levels out Sonic. Sonic being the brash adventurer who's quick to action and quick to thinking. Knuckles being the patient, almost militaristic in a sense, disciplined, noble savage, and Amy being the emotional core who strives for independence and strives for her own identity and doesn't need other characters to validate herself for it. Now, these characters were unique in the aspect of being heroes. They were unique in the aspect of being a team. And now it's just Sonic with his ultra, I'm super cool, ultra Sonic, don't need no friends, don't need no partners. And the fans have completely rejected them as characters. They're more jokes.
I want to point out something that actually in the European comics, I know I'm going to the comics a lot, but they actually do a good job with the characters. Amy actually does join the Freedom Fighters in the European comics. Oh, it's cool. In the European comics, it's cool because she even gets like a crossbow.
That's actually pretty damn cool.
I'm not even kidding. She has a crossbow.
But yeah, please take note, Sega.
Yeah, I think she officially, at that point when she's older and she got a crossbow, she officially grown out of her Sonic crush. So it's kind of like a joke at this point.
Yeah, I would honestly think that they would do that with the character. It's like, she should grow up. She's the character who hasn't grown up at all. Like, whatsoever. In fact, she did grow up in Adventure 1 and 2, and then she reverted back to childhood, but in a teenage body, and it's really weird. So I honestly feel like the characters have been done a severe disservice to the story. Now, what makes a Sonic game good? The characters have to work with each other. They have to really interact well. You can't have one overpowering the others, but you can't have characters that are one note and useless too. That's what made the original Sonic team, the original, faction of Sonic, Knuckles, Tails, and Amy work, because each one of them were different. Each one of them had their own identity. Each one of them worked well with each other when they needed to.
Like, even I love how Nintendo Power got it before Sega did. It's like, they talked about Sonic and Amy, and it's like, they were never really a couple.
They really weren't. First off, it would be weird if they were, because if she's Tails' age, like you said, and Sonic's 16, ew!
Yeah, exactly.
Just wicked ew! But, that's all the time we have for today. That was the heroes of the Sonic universe, the main four. I'm Raging Crow, that guy with the fro, and he's Rocket Brown, and this is, what makes a Sonic game work. I'm sticking with that title, or at least I'm going to try to. And
I'll remember it.
Thank you. Please keep me up on reminding me about that, because I tend to rant and talk off the handle. But we'll be back later with villains, anti-heroes, and some side characters. But till then, that's
I'm
it.
Rocket Brown, and I'll see you around.